yank and pull out the stem. So then this would have that ball. Oh, I don't want to open this one. Is my thalamus. My thalamus. This is not on your list, the caudate nucleus, so I'm holding the caudate nucleus. So when I yank it out, then I clearly see the three parts. Where the letter C is, that is my midbrain. The little ball in front of it are the pons. And the little bump under it is the medulla oblongata. So then I have the midbrain somewhere in here. I can't see it from there. My pon and my medulla. So the little bump under it. I don't know if you remember, but the medulla is where all the information from the left hemisphere crosses to the right, and then vice versa. Few things, minor housekeeping before we go. If I turn this, I magnify, I have 1, 2 bump, 1, 2 missing, 1, 2, 1, 2, that's 4. 4 is quad, the corpora quadrigemina. The 2 bump on top, the superior colliculi, for your visual reflex. You catch something in the periphery and turn to it, that's a reflex. That's done by the superior colliculi. The inferior colliculi for auditory reflex. I hear something and I turn to it. That is done with those four. What?
What is that called, the area?
The
Where the corpora quadrigemina is?
It's in the back of the brain stem. So if I were to open the stem, so you see where C is, and then the 2 little bumps are in the back of it. Yeah. So C is the midbrain. So it's kind of part of the midbrain, the external part. We kind of lump them all together, and that is essential for your survival. So that's why we call it part of vital functions.
You just said it was things that you're holding on to and all the testes.
Yeah, those are the caudate nucleus, and I mean people confuse them with the thalamus. The thalamus is inside. Questions? Before we leave this, I have 2 huge cable. This is a huge cable carrying information from the cerebrum. So I call that the cerebropeduncle. This is like, this is kind of, you see that white line going in? That's a huge tube bringing information to the cerebellum, the cerebellopeduncle. Notice in the model, the cerebellopeduncle is cut. So I'm looking into it now, and it's going to go into the cerebellum, Whereas this is coming from and going into the cerebrum, cerebropeduncle. I think that does bring us to the cerebellum. Just like the cerebrum, the cerebellum have a left and right hemisphere. Notice there's a connection. The vermis connects the two. And when I cut the vermis, I see there's a little tree inside. The tree of life in white. The arbor vitae. Tree of light on the test is wrong, except for on the multiple choice question. The arbor vitae is your tree of
Sure.
life. Physically, what is it? It's the Purkinje cells. It's the big pyramidal neurons to coordinate all the skeletal muscles. Check your list, make sure I didn't skip anything. Check it twice.